Hi, it's Teri Robinson, the executive editor at SC Media, back with you at RSA Conference in San Francisco. With me right now is Phil Reitinger. He is the president and CEO of the Global Cyber Alliance. I'm so glad that you can make it by to talk to us.
Glad to talk with you, Teri.
Okay, great. So you all have been a really significant part in the DMARC play. Thank you, because I think it's something that's it's long overdue. We've seen a lot of strides in government, and I want to talk to you a little bit about that too, but also what's happening in the private sector.
Well, right now, it's very interesting. People are used to talking about how the private sector leads and government follows. But right now, government is leading, and the private sector is not doing a great job of following. There's expanding DMARC deployment, but since the U.S. federal government directed that federal civilian agencies deploy DMARC across their entire spectrum of agencies, if you will, they've gotten to the point where about 3/4 of the agencies have deployed DMARC at some level. If you look at the vendors, the security vendors that exhibit at the RSA conference, it's not 3/4, it's more like 1/4. And the vast majority of those are at the weakest policy level, so that they're only monitoring phishing emails rather than blocking them.
Why do you think that is? I mean, what's going on? It seems like it's almost a no-brainer that you'd want to do DMARC.
I think it is a no-brainer. It can be a challenge to deploy, but it's not that much of a challenge. And it does a really good job of protecting your customers. I think part of the problem is that for the smaller vendors, it's not something they've gotten to yet. And for other folks, they're worried about a lot of things. So they're particularly worried about inbound attacks. And DMARC helps with that, but the thing it helps with most is protecting your customers and the people you're sending email to. So there's a little bit of a market mismatch in the sense that the people who really ought to care about DMARC deployment are the CEOs and chief marketing officers and chief financial officers, because it makes their email more trustworthy. But the CISOs, who are the ones who really understand what DMARC is, they're just trying to deal with keeping their heads above water.
So it's not too late to do DMARC though.
DMARC is available. It could be we have free tools available to deploy DMARC that are available now in 15 languages. So it doesn't matter where you're from, there's an easy to access language that you can use to help you deploy DMARC. And there are plenty of commercial vendors out there that will also help you go through the process and make your email more trustworthy. I believe it pays for itself in terms of just getting additional click-through rates on your email and making your email more trustworthy. And it's a good thing to do. It's right for everyone. You can do it at any time.
And if the government can do it, then private industry can.
The government, there are really good people in government. It's tough to get stuff done sometimes.
Right.
But the Department of Homeland Security, with the support of the White House, has really come out and said this is something important. So they're focusing on it.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. The White House was before lagging behind the rest of the federal government on DMARC deployment. And just recently, in about a 10-day period, they went from, so the highest level of DMARC enforcement is called reject. And what that means is if somebody sends a phishing email on your behalf, it just gets trashed. The White House, out of its 26 domains, had only one at reject, and within 10 days they went from 1 to 6, which is really good progress. So, if as you said, slower and less agile federal government agencies can move, the private sector certainly can.
Can do it. Well, thank you so much. I look forward to catching up again soon, but thank you for joining us here today. Once again, Teri Robinson, executive editor at SC Media, and this is Phil Reitinger. He's with GCA.